Heading to the biggest event in the city? From road closures to packed streets, we have everything you'll need to know before you go.
Also, the gridlock in Washington may be over as the Senate forwards a bill providing DHS funding.
And later, how a fragile ceasefire with Iran is progressing as tensions continue between the nations. Here on RMU Live.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to our last RMU Live of the season.
That's right. Today is April 24th, and it is the last episode until next semester. I'm Caden Hyde.
And I'm Isabella Harris. The 2026 NFL Draft opened last night on the North Shore with a bang. While the 32 selections were made, NFL Commissioner Rob Goodell announced that Pittsburgh had broken the attendance record for the first night of the draft with 320,000 people, smashing the previous record of 271,000 set in Detroit in 2024.
With the 21st pick in the 2026 draft, the Steelers took Max Ihanachor, an offensive tackle out of Arizona State University. The Steelers have spent recent top picks on tackles Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu, leading some to speculate that the neck injury Jones suffered last season is more severe than the team let on. After last night, the Steelers have used just one of 12 draft picks they have this year. Tonight, they have 1 second-round and 3 third-round picks. Rounding out the draft on day 3, Pittsburgh has 2 fourth-rounders, 1 pick in each the 5th and the 6th, and will end the 2026 draft with 3 picks in the 7th round.
Many of the roads along the North Shore, as well as several iconic bridges, will be closed during the peak of the draft festivities this weekend. Closures include 6th Street and Mazeroski Way, the Smithfield, Roberto Clemente, and Andy Warhol bridges, and several ramps to and from Route 65 and Interstate 279. The brunt of these closures are expected to be lifted on Sunday. However, the traffic patterns are not expected to return to normal until May 10th.
Pittsburgh Regional Transit has announced that they are nearing capacity after day 1 of the draft. Park and Ride, the dominant way people from the outer neighborhoods are getting to the draft, are filling up fast. 11 out of 20 stops are reaching above 50% capacity, with Monroeville and Sheridan stations at 90%. PRT also announced that they are working to expand parking in Monroeville to include spots at the Monroeville Mall. As for the 9 remaining low-capacity spots, they are spread throughout the city, with the closest one to RMU's campus being right down the road on University Boulevard. As for the festivities themselves, fans must abide by the NFL security policies. Clear bags, small cameras, and refillable water bottles are among the items allowed at all areas of the event. However, the list of banned items is much longer. There are obvious bans, such as alcohol, firearms, and explosives such as fireworks, but there are some that border on the bizarre. Frisbees, beach balls, and umbrellas are all banned by the NFL as well. If anyone has any questions regarding the security policies at the events, fans can find the official security and prohibited items page at www.nfl.com/draft.
The NFL Draft will continue tonight at 7 p.m. with rounds 2 and 3. The selections will conclude tomorrow with rounds 4 through 7 taking place beginning at noon. Round 2 will have 7 minutes per pick, and every round after that will have 5. So you can expect a much more expedited drafting process after round 1.
The NFL Draft is now underway on the North Shore, but that doesn't mean the rest of the city's businesses aren't prepared. With an influx of tourists to the city, restaurants and bars will likely never be busier. In Market Square, the Space Bar is installing large screens for viewing the draft, as well as rooftop art and a debut of a new cocktail menu. Love Pittsburgh, a shop in the Strip District, is hosting a so-called Draft Darty on Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. On the north side, Allegheny City Brewing will be operating on longer hours in hopes of gaining more traffic through a marketing partnership with the NFL itself. Owner Mark Yurkovic knows the importance of the partnership, saying, quote, "This is huge for a small brewery without a marketing budget."
The Heinz Company is starting a new tradition this draft called, quote, Mr. 57. The idea sparks from celebrating the 57th overall draft pick, tying into the company's iconic 57 varieties branding. The selected player will be crowned Mr. 57 and receive perks and a lifetime supplies of Heinz products, along with a brand membership. The company stated the connection to football from Pittsburgh's roots began with it.
Market Square in downtown Pittsburgh has officially reopened after a $15 million renovation. This comes just in time for the NFL draft. The space was redesigned for wider pedestrian walkways, upgraded the lighting, and improved accessibility, along with a new pavilion for year-round events in the burg. Officials, as well as business owners in the area, are calling the project a modern upgrade that modernizes one of Pittsburgh's most populated gathering spaces, making tourism and local activity rise, especially with current events.
City authorities in Pittsburgh stated they have seized several counterfeit NFL merchandise from local businesses in the Strip District, just ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft. The report stated that many items included fake league branding apparel that was being sold as authentic goods. The Attorney General's office has stated their efforts to crack down to protect fans and licensed vendors during this chaotic weekend ahead. Officials are warning tourists to be cautious from buying from vendors and now authorized retailers.
An investigation is currently happening in Pittsburgh's Strip District after a man was found dead on a rooftop. Authorities say that the officers were on call to the 1300 block of Penn Avenue, where they discovered a body. The report says that there were no obvious signs of trauma and that the death is not immediately being considered under foul play. Victim crime units are still investigating, as the man's identity and cause of death will be released at a later time by medical examiners as the story develops.
A local movie drive-in has been nominated to be placed on the USA's top 10 best drive-ins list. The Dependable Drive-In is located on Moon Clinton Road in Moon Township, and it's one of the last remaining drive-ins in Allegheny County. Community members are able to vote online to help boost the ranking of the local drive-in. The top 10 winners will be announced upon deciding on a public vote. This list could give the region some recognition to a fun summertime classic for over 70 years.
And I know I speak for most when I say there's not much better than a warm spring Friday, but we'll continue into this evening and tomorrow. We'll send it over to Owen McLaren for some more.
Thanks, guys. It most certainly will continue for today into tonight. As you can see, it is going to be a wonderful 82 degrees today with a low of 59, exactly like yesterday. A perfect day to get out there, walk, hang out with friends. Virtually no percent chance of precipitation today. A little bit windy, but you can expect that around here this time of day. As we head into the hourly tonight, you can expect it to drop down a little bit, but still wonderful views out there and virtually no wind. You can expect a possible stray shower overnight, and as we head into tomorrow, there is a good solid chance of rain, especially in the morning. High of 63, low of 46. So if you do plan on heading downtown for the NFL draft, just be prepared for a chance of rain, especially in the morning. But as we head into the afternoon, it will certainly clear up. Later, I will have my 5-day forecast. I'll send it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Owen. Even though you might be in a t-shirt right now, you'll definitely want to get out those jackets this evening.
After this, how President Trump and the Iran government are still in rough waters.
Also, the possibility of less stress at the pump may be on the way, as prices are expected to lower.
And how a healthy lifestyle for you also might be a healthy lifestyle for the planet. Find out more after this.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home.
Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
Escalation in the war with Iran, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps taking control of 2 ships in the Strait of Hormuz, just hours after President Donald Trump backed down from his threats and extended the ceasefire. Brian Abel has the latest from Washington.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard say they've seized 2 ships in the Strait of Hormuz and moved them to Iranian waters, while Iran state media says a 3rd Greek-owned vessel is now disabled off Iran's coast after reportedly being targeted by the IRGC. The claim's not independently verified, but the UK's Maritime Traffic Organization previously said 2 container ships were hit by fire.
Now they are basically a bargaining chip for the Iranians. They're coming into these potential talks with ships in their possession.
The escalations come hours after the ceasefire deadline between the U.S. and Iran was set to expire. But by Tuesday afternoon, President Donald Trump announced he would extend the ceasefire at the request of Pakistan until Iran submits a proposal and talks conclude, quote, one way or the other, calling Iran's government seriously fractured following the U.S.'s targeted attacks on leadership.
The problem is that through these decapitation campaigns and the fact that Mujtaba is seriously injured, there isn't a final decider.
Trump didn't offer a new deadline, though sources say he plans to give Iran a limited time frame for a unified proposal. While the ceasefire continues with the ball now in Iran's court and a resolution unclear.
I think we're at a very precarious position and it could go either way, really.
The U.S. says it will continue its naval blockade of Iranian vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, action that Tehran says must end before Iran will negotiate. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Although the ceasefire is indefinite, both sides have little intention to give up ground, especially since Israel violated the previous ceasefire less than 24 hours later. President Trump is sending his envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Pakistan on Saturday to continue talks with Iran. It remains to be seen when or if a permanent ceasefire or end to this war will occur.
The Senate has passed a resolution to end the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. The bill, which passed at 3:30 a.m. on Thursday, went through a long process of amendments over the night. The final product sees the agencies funded the $70 billion annually through the end of President Trump's term. The DHS has been opened up, but Republicans in the House will not vote on the bill until the Senate has shown progress in paying ICE and Border Patrol. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that his party hopes to keep the bill narrowly focused on ICE and Border Patrol all the way to President Trump's desk.
A referendum to redraw Virginia's congressional districts passed this week with a 51.5% majority. The new map, which aims to add 4 Democratic seats to the House of Representatives, has earned some scorn from Republican leaders, namely President Trump, who called it, quote, a rigged election in a Truth Social post, alleging mail-in ballot fraud. A Tazewell County judge has ordered the results to not be certified, citing, quote, flagrantly misleading wording in the referendum as the reason. However, State Attorney General Jay Jones has indicated he will appeal the decision. Due to this outcome, there has been rising speculation that Florida will also redistrict, but instead to gerrymander a GOP majority. Here is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson with more.
Mr. Speaker, Florida redistricting is up in the air right now. Would
Yes.
you encourage them to go down this path as well?
Yes.
And draw new lines?
Absolutely. Florida has the right and the intention to do it, and my view is that they should.
It remains to be seen if Governor Ron DeSantis will pursue any redistricting efforts.
Gas prices have soared more than 30% since the war in Iran began. The violence has caused a disruption in the oil production and shipping and leading to global shortages.
But as Jen Sullivan explains in today's Consumer Watch, there is some good news for drivers.
Markets opening Monday with oil prices rising, following news that Iran has once again declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Maritime traffic through this key waterway has virtually halted, further disrupting global oil production.
The longer we wait, the longer flows are restricted from Hormuz, the less supply we have in the market.
Amina Baker, head of Middle East Energy and OPEC Insights at Kepler, says oil traffic will remain impacted.
We are not seeing a resolution to the situation despite all these headlines.
The good news is U.S. gas prices are coming down. As of Monday, the national average for regular gas was $4.04 a gallon, according to AAA. That's already 13 cents below the peak of $4.17 we saw earlier this month.
Prices have likely peaked and they'll start going down.
But before the war began, gas prices were below $3 a gallon. And while President Donald Trump says he believes prices will fall sooner, the Energy Secretary says it could be a while until drivers see those prices at the pump again.
That could happen later this year. That might not happen till next year.
So why does it take so long for prices to drop dramatically?
Refineries still in the Middle East that provide fuel in areas like Europe may still have some delays before they can really resume operations.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says even when the Strait of Hormuz does fully open again, it could take at least several weeks for oil tankers to even get in position to travel through that area. All of that takes time, which is why prices are slowly going to come back down. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
While gas prices are still a far cry from the pre-conflict low, the fact that they are coming down is a reassuring one. The Associated Press published 3 new polls regarding President Trump's approval, and the results are not ones that Republicans are hoping for. Out of those polled, 72% do not approve of the direction in which the country is heading, although the poll admits that the rates for independents and Democrats is much higher than that of Republicans. The rate is very similar to their feelings about the economy, with 73% of those polled saying that the economy is poor, up 66% from March. The AP attributes the high rates to the rising cost of fuel and other necessities due to the conflict in Iran. As for approval of Trump's job as chief executive, 2/3 of those polled disapprove. The number of those who do approve, 33%, is a 9% drop from his rate at his inauguration. President Trump's approval has remained in a close range throughout his time in office, dating back to his first term, which means a 9-point change since January of 2025 is very much out of the ordinary.
The Justice Department has announced a major shift in the federal drug policy by reclassifying medical marijuana as a less dangerous substance. While marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, a change could bring a tax relief to cannabis companies and expand the access for all patients all over the United States. Many are calling it a step up, while others are calling it a warning for the potential health risks that the increased dosages can have.
Wednesday was Earth Day, a time to show support for environmental protection, and experts say there are several things you can do to help save the planet and your future health.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has healthy habits that also help the earth.
It's the only home we have, but caring for the earth and your health are 2 things you can do at once.
Earth Day is a great reminder that what's good for our health is often good for the planet, too.
Dr. Winnie Armand with Mass General Brigham says small changes can make a big difference for both. The first way to do that is to move more. Instead of using a car, walk or bike to where you're heading.
This helps boost both physical and mental health, but it also cuts down air pollution and greenhouse gases.
Armand says eating a plant-forward diet, focusing on foods like vegetables, beans, legumes, and whole grains, can lower risk of heart disease, diabetes, and more, while also reducing the environmental footprint of our food. Next, reuse more with simple swaps. A refillable water bottle or a reusable food container cuts down on plastic waste.
This is better for our bodies and the environment, since most plastics are not recyclable and don't break down. And all this plastic ends up everywhere, our food, water, soil, and even inside us.
Armand says to be aware of fossil fuel emissions from things like idling cars or gas-powered equipment. Air pollutants aren't only bad for the environment, but can also cause many diseases. Finally, take time to enjoy the outdoors.
I'd say spend more time in nature and help create more of it, because there's actually good evidence that being in green spaces improves both mental well-being and physical health.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Armand says it's also important to share this message while you may know ways to protect the earth and your health.
She says others may not, and sharing good information may help them to make changes too. Coming up next, a tough night for the Steelers as draft decisions leave fans with more questions than answers.
As well as a few major setbacks for the Penguins in their past few games as they continue to face in their in-state rivals.
And for the first time in over a decade, the RMU men's lacrosse team finishes off the regular season with a title in hand. After this.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
While we're getting ready to wind down for the show, this season it looks like Pittsburgh fans are already ready to do the same.
From the wins to the losses to the questionable picks, Joey Dramasic is here to tell us what we need to know.
Hello everyone, my name is Joey Dramasic and welcome to the last weekly sports report of this semester. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Starting out on the dime with the RMU softball team. Before Tuesday, the team was a perfect 7-0 against teams in Pennsylvania. Pitt hosted the Colonials earlier in the season and it took down the Panthers 12-3 at Pitt. On Tuesday, Pitt took down RMU 5-2, which was the first loss of the season against the PA team. This weekend, the Colonials host La Roche with a doubleheader tomorrow. Along with the games tomorrow will also be Senior Day and will celebrate the 17 years on the roster. First pitch for both games are set for 1 and 3:30 p.m. at the North Athletic Complex softball field. Now over to the most dominant team that RMU has seen all season, and that, of course, is the men's lacrosse team. Last weekend, the Colonials clinched the regular season title and the #1 seed in the NEC tournament with a 14-11 win over LIU. This weekend, the Colonials will travel to New York to take on Wagner before the tournament next Thursday. Their opponent is still up in the air and will be decided by Saturday afternoon. The Colonials will look to ride into the tournament with an 11-game winning streak with the win versus Wagner this weekend. The game is set to start at noon tomorrow. Now over to the RMU women's lacrosse team who put an end to their 3-game losing streak on Wednesday with a 12-10 win over Mercyhurst. The Colonials take on Detroit Mercy, and this is a must-win for the Colonials. Why? Because even though they sit outside of the MAC tournament, if they were to win and the top 3 teams in the conference were to win this weekend, the Colonials will slide into the 4th seed in the tournament that they are hosting next week here in Moon Township. Tomorrow's Senior Day and the game is set to start at 1 p.m. Let's head to the green with the RMU men's golf team. Starting tomorrow and ending on Monday, the Colonials will be taking part in the Horizon League Championship Tournament at Howey in the Hills in Florida. This event is set to start at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's now go downtown with the Pittsburgh Penguins. After the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Pens find themselves in a 3-0 hole to their in-state rival, the Philadelphia Flyers. On Wednesday, the Pens played Game 3 in Philly and lost in miserable fashion 5-2. The season is looking like the end of the road for the Pens will be in the first round, even though a 3-0 deficit has been overcome before in the postseason, is looking highly unlikely. They will, though, try to get Game 5 back in Pittsburgh tomorrow night in Game 4. Puck drop is set to start at 8 p.m. in Philly. Now let's head over to the Pirates in some up-and-down Bucko baseball. The Pirates dropped their 3-game series with the Rangers, dropping Games 1 and 3 and winning Game 2. This weekend, the Pirates will travel to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, who are currently 5th in the NL Central, while Pittsburgh currently sits 4th in the NL Central. The games will start this weekend tonight at 7:40 p.m., Game 2 tomorrow at 7:10, and wrapping things up on Sunday at 2:10. 3 very important divisional games before returning back to PNC Park next week. Wrapping things up here in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. The draft started last night, and for more teams, the draft season started with a splash drafting players who they saw fit the future for their team. The Steelers, on the other hand, arguably had the worst night of any team on the first night. With the 21st overall pick, they drafted offensive lineman from Arizona State, Max Ihanator, who isn't a bad player and can protect whatever quarterback is under center next season, but it's the way they got him. The NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported that the Steelers were on the phone with USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon as the Philadelphia Eagles traded up to 20 and would ultimately select Lemon to crush more Yinzer's hearts this week. Overall, I'd give the pick a C for the Steelers. Night 2 of the draft starts tonight at 7 p.m. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in into the weekly sports report the entire semester. Reporting for RMU-TV, I'm Joey Dramasic. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you as always, Joey. And it appears that things are dire for the Penguins, but fortunately, the Pirates and RMU men's lacrosse team are doing well to pick up the slack. Student tickets to any RMU home game can be found in the RMU Game Day app.
Still ahead, mix of conditions for our 5-day forecast will bring us with this late April weather.
Also, a surprise from one of the biggest tech companies as their CEO announces he's stepping down.
And a major development in the following of a famous singer-songwriter as he faces charges in a continuing case.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.com.
Welcome back to RMU Live.
We're going to send it over to Owen to see if we have another heat wave coming this week or if we should keep our coats handy.
Thanks, guys. It's going to be a mix of both next week. As you can see, Sunday and Monday are going to be partly cloudy, but as we head into next week, there's going to be a mix of showers on Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday's looking fine, but overall the temperatures are going to stay consistent in the low 60s to the 70s. That's all I have for the weather for this semester. I'm going to send it back over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Owen. It looks like Pittsburgh's going to have yet another windy week, but at least most of the day should be sunny. Now moving on, the 21-year-old singer David Anthony Burke, known simply as David, is being held without bail following his arrest and arraignment on charges of murder of a 14-year-old girl. Burke could face a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole or the death penalty if convicted. Reed Binion reports.
That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke. The musician known as David, spelled D4VD.
Authorities in California Monday officially charging the hit singer David in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
First-degree murder with special circumstances.
David, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke, was also charged with mutilating human remains and continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14. He pleaded not guilty Monday. His attorneys entered the plea on his behalf at his initial court appearance. This comes 7 months after Celeste's remains were discovered and nearly a year after her last known whereabouts.
On April 23, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive.
In September 2025, her dismembered and decomposed body was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered to Burke. Neighbors said the car, parked not far from where Burke had been living, looked abandoned. After it was towed, an employee at the tow yard noticed a foul odor coming from the vehicle and alerted police. Following a months-long investigation, authorities arrested Burke last Thursday, taking him into custody at a residence in the Hollywood Hills, roughly a mile from the yard where Celeste's body was discovered inside the car. Burke's attorneys said they intend to vigorously defend his innocence and believe evidence will show he did not cause her death. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And prosecuting attorneys have said they found a, quote, significant amount of child sex abuse material when investigating David. More will be said about the case as it develops.
Longtime Apple CEO Tim Cook will be stepping down from his position. In a letter he wrote announcing from his decision, Cook explained that he will become the next executive chairman of the corporation beginning in September. and John Turnus will take over his spot. Turnus has been with Apple for 25 years, overseeing the engineering on several products, including the iPad, iPhone, and Apple Watch.
Before we go here today, we want to give a quick shout out to our producer, Jordan Worak, for putting so much time and energy into the show over the past 2 years.
He has truly made the show what it is today, and we all appreciate all the hard work that you do.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the last RMU Live of the season.
And don't forget to join us whenever we come back next semester.
Thank you, and have a nice night.